Hello, welcome to What the Flick. Christy and Alonzo and Matt. Sometimes we talk about movie news. Movie news. Guess what? There's going to be a new Star Wars director.
Again.
Meet the new Star Wars director, same as the old Star Wars director, and it's J.J. Abrams. So episode 9 was going to be Colin Trevorrow, and no, it's not.
And no, it's not.
Here today, gone Trevorrow. I didn't make that up.
That's funny. That's funny. So there has been upheaval in the galaxy.
Yeah.
What's the line?
As though a million souls cried out or were suddenly silent.
Or something like that. And so what is the deal? So they want a director that they can control, essentially.
Well,
right?
Okay. So
tell us, nerd.
Okay.
You want more of these?
So the last director to get, or directors to get the axe were Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Right.
And
what were they going to do?
Well,
the Han
Solo movie, which now Ron Howard's been brought in to finish. Colin Trevorrow has been given his walking papers, and J.J. Abrams is coming in. And so let's get to why these directors have been asked to leave. Word on the street is they're difficult, and Kathleen Kennedy gives 0 fucks. So that's to be commended, right? Like, it's Star Wars. You should be thankful to be there, right? Like, any director should be happy to be there, and whatever the studio says, you should do. I think, because look, like, are there opportunities to bring vision to that? Sure, there are, but ultimately, you got to listen to the person who's running the show there, right? I mean, that's been what's worked really well for Marvel for the most part. And
sorry, Edgar Wright, you're too interesting.
Well, but it's look, from a business standpoint, I get that you want to protect what you're doing and you don't want to be too out there. And at a certain level, first of all, let's not go crazy with Trevorrow, right? Like, that guy, right? His middle name might as well be workmanlike.
You saw the Book of Henry.
I did, but I also saw Jurassic World, so I can see why that might have been a choice that made sense in that he could work. I hated that movie too. And I wasn't fond of it, but I was saying I can see why he would have made sense as a director who can do like a big budget, big special effects blockbuster, but work within a framework that already exists.
And sure, fine. And then it turns out he does this other movie, and then it turns out, this Book of Henry, not good, and then it turns out he's got an attitude problem. Like, all right, well, we can find, I love that what they basically said backhandedly, like, straight white guy directors, we can replace them and nobody will notice. What I'm disappointed in with J.J. Abrams coming in episode 9 is that this is a movie, arguably this trilogy is Rey's story more than anyone else's, and would it kill us to get a female director to at least direct the last chapter of this?
Patty Jenkins is doing the second Wonder Woman movie.
And there's no other female director in Hollywood. Sorry. No, here's the thing. On the one hand, I think you can, as you said, you can draw a line directly to the Marvel movies. It'd be like the studio is the auteur, the producers are in charge. Kevin Feige runs Marvel, Kathleen Kennedy runs Star Wars. And yeah, the directors are disposable. The directors are there to, direct traffic mainly. I think, they might get a glimmer of vision here and there, but for the most part, they're there to like come in and do this thing that has been laid out for them to do. This is not really anything new. Who directed Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? It wasn't like, I know you know, it's a rhetorical question. It's not like they brought in Scorsese and Spielberg. Irvin Kershner and Richard Marquand are not like, oh yes, those visionary auteurs, No,
but like having said that, Ron Howard and J.J. Abrams are not unknown like directors that they can just manipulate. People know what they're doing.
But Abrams has already done one of these, and he's shown his willingness to play along with the system.
And
Ron Howard is not. It's not like they hired Godard.
Right, those guys are totally safe choices, fine. I can't, from a business standpoint, I don't begrudge that. But first of all, you talk about Patty Jenkins. I thought it was interesting to notice that we didn't hear about Abrams till after the news about Jenkins broke. And I have to imagine that we're gonna find out within a few weeks, if not a few months, that
they approached her.
There was a bidding war. There has to have been. I would have to think that. I would not be surprised. And she wanted to stick with Wonder Woman, which is, arguably the right choice. There are plenty of women to direct this, and again, like Abrams, totally safe choice. It's a layup to have him direct this, but I can't help but think, yes, it's Kathleen Kennedy's show, but the optics of it and kind of the statement that it makes to bring in a woman director, it's kind of a missed opportunity. And not to make it all political, but No, again, it's Ray's fucking story.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think the real question here is, what were they thinking going after people like Lord and Miller and Trevorrow if they whatever.
It rhymes with tomorrow.
I never want to say his name again. So why do they bring
that Clooney movie Trevorrow Land was terrible.
Why do they bring these guys in if they're clearly looking for company men? I mean, like why did they hire Edgar Wright when they wanted more, like the Russo brothers?
I think they're underestimating.
Nothing against the Russo brothers, but they know how to operate within the confines of what's going on.
I think they're overestimating these guys being company men. That's part of it. Is that I remember hearing about the last Die Hard movie and thinking, God, why would they bring this guy in to direct a Die Hard movie who hadn't really done much? And it's like, oh, it's somebody junior that Bruce Willis can push around. Right. So I think the assumption going into it is that Lord and Miller, sure, they hit with their animation guys. Yes, Deadpool had done well.
21 Jump Street.
And 21 Jump Street, but this is Star Wars, and it turns out, oh, these guys are more high maintenance than I really want to deal with. I'll go, give them their walking papers. I'll bring in the guy that knows to listen and is a pro.
We'll play along nicely.
And we'll play along.
And somewhere Ryan Johnson is like, no, I'm just working here. Don't look at me. I don't know.
Trevorrow was the same assumption, right? Like, oh, okay, so he can play in the Jurassic Worlds, in the Jurassic Park sandbox. He knows to ape somebody else's style, and then you get him on set. And it's like, this guy's this demanding. Fuck that noise.
But we wish him well.
Yeah, sure.
It's an amicable split, and we wish him well.
They consciously said consciously uncoupled. Thank you. I couldn't remember. So yeah, I mean,
let me ask you this though. So we talk about this, and people who are in film, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, talk about this. Do you think the average person going to buy a ticket with their kids to go see Episode 9 will care whether it's Colin Trevorrow or it is J.J. Abrams?
No,
probably not.
They Star Wars.
Will they ever have
Star Wars?
But what it does, but again, sounding like a social justice warrior, what it does for the business, what it does for the optics, to put a woman at the helm there would be a big signal, right?
No, I agree.
And yes,
I agree.
Yes, it's great that Kathleen Kennedy is running the biggest franchise, the biggest property in film, but bring somebody else.
And you know what? There are female hacks who will do what you ask them to do, just like there are male hacks who will do what you ask them to do.
I want Nancy Meyers Episode 9. I want more throw pillows.
Right.
Make it all about Aunt Beru.
Right. Aunt Beru's kitchen full of blue milk, pink milk, everything.
It's possible. All right. So anyway, we'll
get a kitchen on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, they must have one, right?
You would think, right?
Where do they make their food?
I bet it's a bar.
Probably.
No, Nancy Meyers Episode 9 would take place entirely in the cantina, right? But the cantina is beautiful.
But they're renovating it.
It has like marble countertops.
And the lighting is better, and they're going for a whole new concept.
No, it would be all in Padme's apartment on Coruscant, and like her fancy swanky
those
apartment.
digs, right?
Anyway, so we'll probably review this movie when it comes out.
I guess
We'll talk about it.
If it opens on any screens.
Bye.